Hi everyone. I received a question from an anonymous user on Tumblr who writes, "Hey Lee, so I go to a Catholic school and I'm gay, but I think they can kick me out for that since it's not government run and it makes me feel really scared. First and foremost, I'm really sorry that you're in this situation. Anytime that you could be socially punished just for being who you are in a way that you have no control over, it's awful. It's an indescribably bad feeling. That being said, I want to give you some advice that in the past, some people have given me negative feedback before, so hopefully I can explain it well enough that you'll understand exactly what I mean. There's been so much wonderful work done around the world to help make progress with the LGBTQ community. Just the difference in my own lifetime for people to feel so hard closeted, and then now in some places gay people can get married, trans people can openly be trans and change their gender on government documents. Even on social media, there's even like a gender section. You can choose they, them, or put in some type of customized pronouns and stuff. I mean, that's huge progress. Don't get me wrong, way more progress still needs to be made. But even just in my lifetime, wow, the amount of progress has been really great. With that being said, it might give some people the impression that in order to be correctly queer or valid, that you have to be open all the time and you have to pull yourself out of the closet even when it's in a situation that can hurt you and there's also no real benefit. And that's kind of where I want to talk about this situation. Being gay or being heterosexual at school as a minor, who cares? You're there to do a job, which is to learn. You're not there to hold hands. You're not there to kiss. You're not there to do any of that. And all of that can be done outside of school. You're not banned from ever doing that. It's just not something you want to do at school. What benefit do you get? Really, how will it benefit you that you are holding hands sometimes in between classes? You could send notes to each other if you want to be romantic in school in a way that's not so overt. You can still get that kind of closeness, that kind of loving benefit without being so overt about it. To contrast this, when I was in the military, there was this policy called don't ask, don't tell. You couldn't be queer in the military, but before this policy, they could ask you. So now they're saying the military doesn't ask you if you're gay, and you don't tell the military you're gay, the end. The difference between that and going to Catholic school is two things. The first thing is when you're finished at school, you're finished with school, you go about your daily life. When you're finished with work in the military, you're still in the military. So even stuff like the way that I dress, or my hairstyle, or the type of nail polish that I wore, I could get in trouble for that on a Saturday at a restaurant on my own time. I could still get in trouble for that on Monday. So in the same way, if I was dating a woman, I could still get kicked out for that, even though it had nothing to do with the workplace. The second thing is an age difference. So if you're a type of person who wants to be in the military for quite some time, perhaps you want to retire out of the military, this is at an age where you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with. A lot of people that are older than 18, when they start dating somebody, that is under the impression that it could progress to something like moving in with that person, getting married to that person, having children with that person. This would be a thing that you couldn't participate in as a gay person. This whole portion of your life would be denied to you. Even if nobody at work knew you were gay, if you did something like this outside of work, somebody would find out where your platoon is and they would get you in trouble and you would get kicked out. This is different from me at work, at school. So for example, I have facial piercings. I have a tattoo sleeve, a very big, it's just full, totally full tattoo sleeve. And I have other tattoos as well. I just don't show them at work. But if I'm outside of work, there's no problem. And if somebody sees me outside of work, maybe I run into a student and then they talk to their parent and the parent calls the school will say, don't bother Miss Lemon. Miss Lemon was just going about their daily life at the store, whatever. They never show this at school. Back off. I can't get fired for something like that unless I do it at school. In the same way, you have a whole life outside of school. And just like me showing my tattoos doesn't improve my teaching ability in any way, you showing that you're gay doesn't improve your learning ability in any way. I don't get any benefits by showing up to work with my facial piercings in, and you don't get any benefits by showing up to work or showing up to school openly being gay, whatever that looks like for you. I have worked with adults that do not understand this, that do not understand there's a time and a place for things. They will overshare, or they'll be inappropriate, or so many other things that they really shouldn't be doing at work. But they feel like they need to share every aspect of themselves. They don't. This isn't about lying. This isn't about hiding. This isn't about feeling shame for who you are. I'm not saying to do that. But I am saying that everyone has a different personality at work. Like in different settings, you are a different person. When I am at work, there's a lot of words that I don't say that I'll say to my friends very freely. When I'm at work, there's a lot of clothing I don't wear that on my off time I wear very freely. In fact, most of my coworkers don't even know that I have a YouTube channel. And the one coworker that knows that I have a YouTube channel, they don't even know my YouTube name. I specifically just haven't told them because I don't want those two things to mix. That's just my personal choice. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not being sneaky. I just don't see how it's relevant. It's not going to make me a better coworker or a better teacher just by sharing this part of myself. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I do YouTube either. It's just not relevant. While I'm at work, I'm talking about stuff like work stuff, And in the same way, when you're at school, you should be talking about school stuff. That's your job right now, is you're a student. And it's a good idea for you to get into the habit of knowing what's appropriate to share at work and knowing what's irrelevant to share at work and knowing what's inappropriate to share at work. In the case of being gay, it's just irrelevant. The other thing too is, as far as being scared that someone's going to find out, I don't know if any of my students are dating. I just don't care. What does that have to do with anything that I'm doing as a teacher, right? I don't care if my students are dating. Apparently some teachers do care. Okay, but I'm so busy with work that I can't also be busy with the drama that unfolds between my students. The only time I care about my students being socially interactive is if they're bullying each other in a way that I can see or hear. If they're not doing that, I just don't care. I've got so much other stuff to do. Most of your teachers are the same way. They've got so much other stuff to do that even if you are standing a little bit too close to somebody in a way that could be maybe looking like you might be dating or have a crush on that person, most of your teachers won't even notice. Just nobody cares. Okay? So don't be afraid of that. I mean, when I'm off of work, I'm off of work. Like, I don't hunt my students down. I don't try to find their social media. So don't be worried that there's some administrators that are spending their days trying to find out which students are gay and which students aren't and how can we kick these students out. Nobody wants to kick out a student. Nobody does. And even with that don't ask, don't tell policy, really the only time it was ever used is if they wanted to get a Marine out because that Marine just sucked, but they weren't doing anything super bad to warrant a separation. And then they'd find out the Marine is gay or pretending to be gay. Okay, goodbye. That's really it. And I'm assuming as a private school where they're receiving money from your family, they're probably not seeking to kick somebody out unless they really have to, unless the student is beating other students up or being super overly public display of affection to the point where it's overly distracting and they've been warned several times, and just to maintain their good Catholic veneer, they have to kick them out. They're a school, but they're also kind of a business, and they're receiving money. They don't want to cut off that income from you just because you might be gay. Do you know what I mean? So to you, it's a very big deal. To the adults that work there, typically not. Even if you have one teacher that just really hates gay people and somehow finds out that you're gay and they'll report you to the administration again is probably going to say, you know what, if they're not doing anything, just let it go. We don't want to kick the student out. It's too much paperwork and it's a loss of money. Like, we don't want to do that. Typically. I can't speak for your administration, but typically that's how it is at a private school. Hopefully this has been helpful to give you sort of that confidence that you don't have to just be gay everywhere, because again, it seems like this is a thing that some people feel. They feel guilty that they're closeted, or they feel guilty that they feel like they have to hide, and you don't have to feel that way. It's very normal for people to have a different personality at work, in your case, school, and to have a different personality outside of work. So you just get to practice that early. That's it. Which is good, quite frankly. I wish more people would learn there's a difference between work you and outside of work you. In work you shouldn't be talking about certain things. So hopefully at least you'll get that experience now. So by the time you do enter the workforce, you're not going to be one of those inappropriate coworkers that everybody hates. So that's good. And make sure that when you do have a choice, when you are able to find a job, you do find a job where they don't care that you're gay. And if there's some work function and you want to bring a date to that function, no one's going to make a big deal over the fact that your date is of the same sex that you are. That's the stuff that you can look forward to, at least. Right now, you don't really have a choice. And at the same time, nobody's forcing you to date somebody that you don't feel comfortable with. You likely aren't missing out on a bunch of PDA at school because you're at a Catholic school that's probably against the rules anyway. It's even against the rules at my school, and we're not religiously affiliated at all. We don't want to see students making out in the hallways. Who wants to see that? Nobody wants to see that. Ugh. So, it's not like you're being denied this right like people in the military were. So hopefully that gives you some perspective on it. And again, it still sucks, and I'm sorry you're feeling scared, but I hope that through this video and this explanation, you kind of understand in a good way, in the best way possible. Nobody really cares about you like that. These people around you don't really care about your personal life. And if you accidentally make a gay joke, they'll just think, he's just making a gay joke, whatever, So anyway, I hope that's been a little bit helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them in the comment section below. You can also check out my social media in the pinned comment below. But wherever you post, please make sure to make it minor friendly in your language. That being said, have a good one. Thanks for listening.